New public healthcare fees start pinching Hongkongers' wallets today. Residents brave the first cold weather alert of the year on New Year's Day, with the mercury expected to dip to as low as 12 degrees tomorrow. And a fire kills dozens of people in a Swiss ski resort bar where some 100 people are partying. Good evening and happy 2026. You're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Starting the new year, patients using public health care will generally pay more under a medical fee reform, while the fee waiver scheme will be widened to support those in need. The hospital authority reported smooth operations during the initial hours, with 9 patients benefiting from transitional arrangements to pay the old cost. Evelyn Bai reports.
The new year arrived with rising charges in accident and emergency departments at public hospitals. Notices were posted outside the A&E departments at Kwong Wah Hospital, reminding patients of the changes. Early morning attendance was modest, and non-urgent patients waited less than 1.5 hours. While more people waited at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the longest wait was 2 hours. Patients triaged as urgent, semi-urgent, and non-urgent will now pay $400, up from $180, while fees are waived for those classified as critical or emergency. This resident, who paid a new fee for emergency service due to her high blood pressure, says she felt a pinch, but there was a need to see a doctor. Axel Siu, chairman of the authority's A&E Coordinating Committee, said the transition across all hospitals proceeded smoothly, with no last-minute rush. Within the first hour after midnight, around 9 people were handled on a discretionary basis and were charged the old fee, Siu added. Speaking to iCable News, Queen Elizabeth Hospital's Deputy Hospital Chief Executive Corporate Affairs, Lee Yim Chu, said they understand citizens may worry about higher overall medical costs. Those in need can apply for medical fee waivers. Under the medical fee waiver mechanism, the number of beneficiaries will expand from 300,000 to 1.4 million, following the relaxation of income and asset limits. More than 50,000 applications for the mechanism have been received so far. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Meanwhile, the medical fee overhaul also adjusted inpatient charges as well as consultation and drug fees for specialist and family medicine clinics. The inpatient service for acute general beds will rise to $300 per day. Other inpatient daily charges will increase to $200 daily. Day procedures and treatments in an ambulatory facility will cost $250 per attendance. Consultation fees will be set at $250 per attendance for specialist clinics and $150 for family medicine clinics. For specialist clinics, drug fees will be $20 per drug item for every 4 weeks. For family medicine clinics, drug fees will be $5 per medication item. This resident said the changes are acceptable for now, but the increases could be a heavy burden for low-income individuals like the elderly. Apart from a new year, Hongkongers today also embraced the first cold weather warning of the year. The observatory issued this year's first cold weather warning at 4:20 p.m., noting a winter monsoon associated with a cold front is moving across the Guangdong coast. It will become windy and cold, with the mercury falling appreciably over the region to hit as low as 12 degrees in the urban area. With the monsoon moderating slightly early next week, it will become a bit warmer, but the temperature difference between day and night will be relatively large. Today's alert is also the first such alert this winter. There were no cold weather warnings issued last November and December, marking the first time in history. Lawmakers of the 8th Legislative Council term were sworn in today as the new year started, with all the oaths taken by them confirmed valid. The 90 members of the Legislative Council took their oaths in the chamber, administered by Chief Executive John Lee. Returning legislators made vows according to their seniority in the council, while new members followed the order of their Chinese surnames by stroke count. 7 members were required to retake their oaths due to unclear delivery of the pledge. The ceremony lasted approximately 1.5 hours. Members were permitted to choose between a religious or non-religious affirmation. Hong Kong authorities have launched a 2-week enforcement blitz to support the newly implemented smoking restrictions, which took effect today. Inspectors are conducting spot checks at transport stops and public venues as the penalty for violations doubles to $3,000. Quentin Yang tells us more.
On this first day of implementation, smokers were noticeably fewer on the streets, and citizens largely voiced support for the change. This lady said she would approve of any measure that reduces smoking, while this smoker voluntarily moved away from a bus stop to light his cigarette. But he also called for clearer signage and better publicity about the new boundaries. The 3-pronged measures, which authorities state have no grace period, introduce a sweeping ban on smoking while queuing. This applies to lines for buses, taxis, and entry into places like cinemas and theme parks. Additionally, smoke-free zones are now extended to cover areas within 3 meters of entrances to schools, hospitals, and elderly homes. After morning inspections in areas like Tsim Sha Tsui, the head of the Tobacco and Alcohol Control Office, Manny Lam, reported no violations. However, some borderline cases emerged, with smokers seen lighting up just steps away from queues, narrowly avoiding infringement, while nearby bins still had ashtrays. Lam confirmed his office is working with the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department to remove such bins from prohibited areas, and is prioritizing public education. We hope the enhanced inspections will raise public awareness and strengthen the deterrent effect, he stated. At least 10 to 20 inspectors will be deployed daily for the next 2 weeks, focusing on high-traffic locations. The crackdown forms part of a phased tobacco control strategy, with a further ban on using alternative smoking products, like e-cigarettes, in public places, set to take effect on April 30th. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Motorists in the city will face higher fixed penalties of $400 for parking violations as part of new penalty charges that went into effect on January the 1st. Evelyn Bai reports.
Under the Fixed Penalty Traffic Contraventions Ordinance, the penalty for illegal parking offences has been increased from $320 to $400. This is the first fee increase in 31 years, aiming to ensure the fixed penalties remain effective deterrents and enhance road safety and traffic flows. This driver said the fare increase has a hindrance effect, and he noticed less illegal parking on the roads. Meanwhile, fines for 19 traffic violations, including speeding, using a mobile phone while driving, and failing to comply with traffic signals, will be increased by 50%, from between $320 and $1,000 to between $480 and $1,500. This taxi driver stated that he is obviously impacted by the $840 fine for picking up or dropping off passengers in a restricted zone, but there's nothing he can do about it. The government vows to increase the supply of parking spaces to meet public demand. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
As we step into the new year, Hong Kong welcomed 6 babies into the world in the first hour of New Year's Day. One boy arrived exactly at midnight at the Chinese University of Hong Kong Medical Center, whose mother described as the best report card of her life. The New Year's baby, his parents' first child, weighed 3.2 kilograms and was born 2 days earlier than expected. The new mother said the pregnancy and delivery felt very long, having to adapt to unpredictable timing and her own physical condition. Yet she was amazed to have met him at this special moment, something she could hardly believe. She hopes he will grow up to be a loving, kind, and courageous boy. The father added that he wishes to spread positive energy to those around him and hopes his child will grow up happily. New Year celebrations are unfolding across the globe as the world welcomes 2026. Let's take a look at how people greeted the new year. At New York City's Times Square, an estimated 1 million people gathered in the bitter cold to welcome the new year. This year's iconic countdown crystal ball, adorned with more than 5,000 crystals, was the largest ever. As the ball descended, 2026 swept across the city. Meanwhile, in London, United Kingdom, 12,000 fireworks lit up the sky over the River Thames. Big band chimed at midnight, heralding the start of 2026. In Paris, France, crowds packed the Champs-Élysées for celebrations at the Arc de Triomphe, wishing to continue shining brightly in the new year. In Asia, Beijing's main countdown event focused on bells and drums. Prayers were rung out on the bell at the Big Bell Temple, accompanied by a dramatic drum performance at the Juyongguan section of the Great Wall. Taipei's iconic 101 Tower saw multiple themed fireworks burst into the night sky in a 6-minute display, set to an original soundtrack by young music producers. In Tokyo, Japan, as the new year arrived, crowds who had waited for hours at temples rushed forward to ring the temple bell. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, at the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, the world's tallest skyscraper, a spectacular fireworks countdown marked the arrival of the new year. A fire tore through a bar in the Swiss ski resort town of Crans-Montana on New Year's Eve, killing dozens of people and leaving more than 100 injured. Videos circulating online showed a fire burning at the bar where New Year's Eve celebrations had been taking place. Police and fire services were deployed to the scene. Police sealed off the area with a no-fly zone in place. The fire broke out at around 1:30 a.m. local time at the popular Crans-Montana bar as revelers rang in the new year. Police said over 100 people were there at the time of the incident. Local hospitals were overwhelmed with burn victims. Many of the victims were tourists. Authorities said the incident is not being treated as terror-related and stated that no explosion occurred at the bar. Regarding reports that the bar lacks emergency exits, leading to many people being trapped, police indicated that the investigation is ongoing. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said a peace deal with Russia is 90% ready, while Moscow alleges a Ukrainian drone attack on President Vladimir Putin's residence has poisoned negotiations, claims Kiev and Western officials dismiss as a fabrication. Quentin Yang reports.
Russia claimed this week that Ukraine launched 91 long-range drones at one of President Putin's residences, northwest of Moscow, stating all were shut down. As it tried to shore up the claims, Russia's defense ministry released a video showing a downed drone that is said had been involved in the attack. In response, Moscow said it would toughen its stance in the U.S.-brokered peace talks. Kyiv has vehemently denied the allegation. A foreign ministry spokesperson dismissed the accusation as a complete fabrication and a laughable attempt to derail diplomacy. International reaction has been similarly skeptical. U.S. national security officials, including the Central Intelligence Agency, determined that the attack did not happen, the Wall Street Journal reported. The European Union's top diplomat supported the view, calling the claim a deliberate distraction from peace efforts. Despite the setback, Zelensky stated in his New Year's Eve address that a peace agreement was 90% ready, but cautioned the remaining 10% contains the most critical issues. He emphasized Ukraine seeks peace, but not at any cost, and will not sign a weak agreement. However, Putin struck a more belligerent tone in his speech, saying he believes his country will win the war against Ukraine while calling on Russians to support the war heroes. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Onto the weather now. It will turn fine tomorrow after a mainly cloudy night, and it will be cold in the morning. Dry during the day with the temperatures ranging from 12 to 17 degrees. Before we wrap up, let's take a look at how Hongkongers embrace the new year.